In today's lecture, we'll examine Nazi Germany's ideologically motivated and systematic murder of Jews, now known as the Holocaust. We'll particularly focus on how these events unfolded across Ukrainian territories. First, we must understand that the Nazis' primary objective was the elimination of Jewry, Judentum, in all its manifestations: spiritual, biological, economic, and physical. While this overarching goal never wavered throughout Hitler's reign, the implementation methods evolved. Initially, from Hitler's rise to power in 1933 until the invasion of the USSR on June 22, 1941, the Nazi regime focused on restricting Jews' rights and attempting to force them out of the German Reich. Following the occupation of Poland, the idea of physically exterminating European Jews began to shift from political rhetoric to specific instructions for punitive units. The years 1941 till 1945 saw the mass murder of Jews across all territories under the control of Nazi Germany and its allies. During the war, over 84% of European Jews lived in German-occupied Eastern European states. Most of them, 64%, lived in Poland and the USSR. This region became the primary focus of the Nazis' Jewish question, and 90% of Holocaust victims came from these countries. Alongside the Jewish genocide, Nazi Germany persecuted and murdered other ethnic, religious, and social groups, including Sinti and Roma people, Slavs, Jehovah's Witnesses, psychiatric patients, and homosexuals. Let's discuss the Holocaust on the territory of Ukraine. As we learned in the previous lecture, Ukrainian territories were divided into 5 zones between Germany and its allies, Romania and Hungary. The ideological and political motives behind the persecution and murder of Jews varied significantly between these states, with different approaches even within German occupation zones. The Holocaust policy between 1941 and 1945 can be divided into 3 distinct periods. The first period began after June 22, 1941, when mass shootings of Jews commenced across occupied Soviet territories, including Ukraine. These executions were carried out by Einsatzgruppen, special units of the Reich Security Police and Security Service, SD. Jewish pogroms erupted in western Ukrainian cities, the Baltic states, and Poland. The local population was also involved in these crimes. The first mass shooting of Jews occurred in Kamianets-Podilskyi, where German forces murdered 23,600 Jews on August 26 till August 28, primarily Polish refugees deported from Transcarpathia. The largest single massacre of the war took place at Babyn Yar in Kiev in September 1941. In this ravine on the city's outskirts, the Nazis murdered 33,771 Jews, a substantial portion of the Ukrainian capital's Jewish population. Similar mass shootings occurred in virtually every Ukrainian town and village with a Jewish population. These events are now known as the Holocaust by bullets. During this period, the Wehrmacht established ghettos in rear areas for Jews who had survived the Einsatzgruppen operations. The Wannsee Conference on January 20, 1942, formalized the decision to murder the majority of European Jews. This led to the establishment of death camps: Auschwitz, Belzec, Majdanek, Sobibor, Treblinka, and Chełmno in Poland. Jews from occupied countries were transported to these camps and murdered in gas chambers. The second period of Nazi Holocaust policy lasted from spring 1942 until late 1944. The focus shifted to Polish territories, where Jews faced systematic murder in death camps. The fate of Ukrainian Jews varied by region. Those from the Galicia district were deported to Belzec, while Jews in the Volhynia-Podolia General District were killed on the spot. Jews in Transcarpathia remained relatively safe until spring 1944, when Germany occupied Hungary and deported them to Auschwitz. The third and final period stretched from late 1944 until May 8, 1945, marking the German army's ultimate defeat and the Nazi regime's collapse. While the Holocaust ended in Ukrainian territories, the killing of Jews continued in areas still under Hitler's control. During this period, the Nazis began evacuating death and concentration camps, leading to additional death among Jews from Ukraine too. The treatment of Jews varied significantly across Romanian occupation zones. In the Transnistria Governorate, both local Jews and those relocated from other Romanian regions faced mass murder through shootings, starvation, and epidemics in ghettos, with many perishing during forced marches. In the Bukovina and Bessarabia governorates, following mass shootings in July 1941 and a failed attempt to transfer some Jews to Hungarian territory, survivors were initially placed in camps in northern Bessarabia. While authorities attempted to relocate them to Transnistrian ghettos, most Bukovinian Jews managed to avoid this fate and survived. Notably, deportations of indigenous Jews within Romania itself were halted in 1942. Romanian anti-Jewish policies ultimately claimed between 270,000 and 305,000 lives, roughly one-third of the Jewish population under Romanian control. Hungary generally did not support genocidal policies against Jews until the German occupation. Only after the occupation did the systematic murder of Jews begin. Jewish labor battalions existed within the Hungarian army. Their members faced brutal treatment, with 42,000 perishing, many at German hands. The question of who was the perpetrator of the Holocaust remains a subject of ongoing scholarly debate. The SS and Nazi Germany's Ministry of Interior bore primary responsibility for implementing the total extermination of Jews. The Reich Security Main Office, which created the Einsatzgruppen, played a crucial role in organizing the mass shootings. This office also oversaw the security police and SD, the official German punitive authorities in occupied territories that continued hunting surviving Jews after the mass shootings. Local formations including auxiliary police, death camp guards such as the Travniki men, and Jewish ghetto police also participated in these actions. It's more challenging to assess the role of independent structures such as church organizations or underground and partisan groups. The local population played a significant part, participating in pogroms and betraying surviving Jews to the authorities, motivated by anti-Semitism or material gain. In general, under the repressive occupation regime, everyone had to determine their position in critical situations over and over again. While most chose to remain distant from the fate of the persecuted, those who actively intervened shaped how future generations would remember their nations. The Holocaust in Ukraine differed from its Central and Western European counterparts in that those who helped Jews often faced execution. Despite these risks, many people tried to save their neighbors. Israel has recognized over 2,659 Ukrainians as righteous among the nations, an honor bestowed upon those who risked their lives to save Jews during the Holocaust. This list remains incomplete, as open discussion of the Holocaust only became possible after the USSR's collapse. A notable figure not included in the list of righteous is Metropolitan Andrei Sheptytsky of the Ukrainian Greek Catholic Church, who sheltered hundreds of Galician Jews in his residence and monasteries. Among those saved was David Kahane, who escaped from the Janovska camp in 1943 and found refuge with his wife and daughter in Sheptytsky's residence. Kahane later documented these events in his book Lviv Ghetto Diary, providing crucial testimony to these horrific times. Another remarkable story is that of Saida, a Crimean Tatar woman from Bakhchisarai, who saved 88 Jewish children during the 1944 occupation, risking her life to give them a chance at survival. Her story has been immortalized in the film A Prayer of Strangers. These accounts are powerful lessons about courage, humanity, and the willingness to help others even in the darkest hours. The video supplement provides detailed information about these stories. In conclusion, Ukraine became one of the Holocaust's primary stages, with over 1.5 million Jews murdered on Ukrainian soil. This is more than a quarter of all Holocaust victims exceeded only by Poland and the rest of the Soviet territories. Beyond the immeasurable loss of life, the Holocaust resulted in the physical destruction of Ashkenazi Jewish culture, a civilization that had flourished on Ukrainian lands for centuries.